David Moyes at full time, making the point, Chris, I think entirely fairly, that the ball, well, I say clearly out because VAR isn't going to measure that, which is understandable. But you were there, Don, and we're watching on the telly, and I think we can say the ball's obviously out, isn't it?
Well, actually, there's no evidence to say that the ball was out of play. What we've looked at
apart
is some
from our eyes.
Yeah, there's some technology that demonstrates that to us.
Well, some technology's picked it up.
Some technology, yeah, that's right. No, what I'm saying is there's some technologies. It's sort of the virtual stuff when you look at it. But unfortunately, with VAR, it doesn't have the technology to actually detect that.
So we've not got the machinery to detect that ball was a yard out of play.
No, you'd only got it on the goal line.
What's the linesman doing?
Right.
Why is the linesman obsessed with Bruno Fernandes not looking at the ball? Because it's gone over David Moyes' head, who's standing a yard off the pitch.
I'll demonstrate it for you if you wish.
Yeah. Oh, demonstration.
Please. So,
here we go.
The linesman is stood, or the assistant referee stood on the touchline with the flag in his left hand. There's touch lines here.
Yep.
So he's watching the ball.
Yep.
As soon as the ball's played,
yep,
he clicks in then because he's thinking offside. So then he turns and he's running down touchline to look for the offside. What he doesn't see is the ball make that arcing motion.
But wouldn't you check ball before offside?
Well, everything.
Well, he can't be
you
offside.
See the ball
from his own.
Well, the ball's played. So once the ball's played, he's then looking at: is there an offside? Is there a next phase of play? Has somebody passed it to someone else?
Oh, okay.
And he's turned and gone. And then when he's running down the touchline, the ball makes that slight arcing motion, so it's been missed.
So the first port of call for him when a ball's played forward is anybody offside?
Well, what he's got to be in line with that second rearmost defender.
Yeah.
Okay. So when the ball's played, he's actually looking. It's that 3D effect where you're looking and listening and watching for the balls we played, and then he turns and he's on his way.
See, I would have thought if you're asking me which order you would do that in, offside or ball out of play, I would have thought it would be ball out of play first.
But you've gone.
Because if that ball stays in play, then it's offside. If it's out of play, you don't even worry about offside.
Exactly.
It's actually looking at where the ball actually goes out of play, because when it's kicked, probably it goes for 15, 20 metres and it's still in play. But as an assistant referee, you're homed in on that second rearmost defender for the offside, and that's where you prioritise. As I said, though, the VAR doesn't pick that up. If you think about if it was a corner kick and it made the same motion, we've got the cameras on the goal line and it would pick it up.
It's like a goal. It's like a goal or a cross. As a footballer, we always say stop the problem at source. So stopping the problem at source is watching where the ball is.
I would have thought so.
So if the ball goes out of play, then you haven't got a problem with the offside.
I think it's pretty harsh on West Ham, that, isn't it? I mean, it's a brilliant finish from Pogba. Yeah. It's a fantastic finish from Pogba, looking at the way that he scores. But it's pretty harsh on West Ham. But still, getting the power on the side foot there, Dion.
See, it's a long way out as well. I like the way that Fernandes he's just rolled it. He's taken a bit off the pass, Fernandes, and he's just rolled it onto his right foot so he doesn't have to break stride. And we know Pogba's got that in his locker from both sides. That's a really good finish. It's outside the post and brings it back in again.
Pogba said in the interview afterwards, or he has said in an interview this week, that he has had COVID and it really taken it out of him physically, which it does, of course.
So we've got to believe.
Do we need to? Yeah, exactly.
No, of course we
have to start actually playing this in to our reporting, our narrative of Pogba this season.
Difficult though, Mark, because when you're watching the game, and I was there obviously commentating on the game, and Pogba was awful for 45 minutes. Declan Rice looked like a Rolls Royce playing against him, and Souček. And Paul Pogba and Scott McTominay done nothing in the first half. And me and Dion have been in the conversations and the shouting matches at half-time when your team, Ole's team, were horrendous for 45 minutes. And I could imagine, I could literally take myself off the gantry, put myself in the United dressing room, and Ole would have said, "Yous lot were a disgrace," and I could have taken any one of yous lot off, apart from Wan-Bissaka. Apart from Wan-Bissaka, I could take anyone off. And he took Cavani off, and he took Van der Beek off. It could have been anyone. Pogba, I thought, was lucky, because he would have been, I would have thought, in the conversation to be taken off, because he didn't have an impact. Well, then as soon as Bruno come on in the second half, the half-time, United just a completely different side. Pogba started having a worldie game, started dominating then Declan Rice, had a knock-on effect when Mata was influential in the third goal. I mean,
Greenwood for 2-1.
Greenwood for 2-1.
How hard is this touch to set himself up?
Rashford's pace. I said it, Mark, this is the hardest. If you put Dion in this situation, or any top-class striker, and that ball is whipped in with pace, half a yard behind you, and you've got to take a first touch that's going to set you for your second strike, it's the hardest skill in football. That is, the striker's good, but the first touch is Messi-like, it's Ronaldo-like, it's all the top players in the world, and not many could pull that off.
Very Aguero, isn't it?
It's
very Aguero. It's so difficult to do as well, and that ball's bounced.
Bergkamp-esque as well.
It is, yeah.
Well,
it is.
Well,
really
very
difficult.
quickly, in the game, exactly the same thing happened to Sebastian Haller in the first half, and he couldn't control it.
Yeah.
Doesn't make Haller a bad player.
No.
It's just the skill, the tariff of that skill is so high.
No, it is.
So where on earth do we go now with Manchester United? This season, they have won 5 in a row away from home, 9 overall going back to the end of last season. Look where they are in the league. By the way, of those 5 in a row they've won away, they've conceded the first goal every single time. If they beat Man City this weekend in the derby, they're in the title race. This is madness.
They're not in a title race.
They have to be. They have to be.
They have to be at the moment.
They can't, because West Ham battered them for 45 minutes.
Yeah, but
Southampton battered them for 45
Well, they
minutes.
have to be in the conversation.
I'm trying to look at the bigger picture, because
No, I know.
they are
Put
in
the
the
league table up again, please.
They are in the conversation because of where they are in the league,
Yeah.
and they are in the conversation because I will agree they've got character. Because when you go behind, to have that inner belief and have 9 wins on the spin away from home, of course they've got to be in the conversation. But they can't keep doing that every single week.
No, listen, you're right.
No, agreed.
Do you know what the truth is? You're right, we're right,
Yeah.
everybody's right,
Yeah.
because we don't know. And when they have Bruno Fernandes, who has, in terms of assists and in terms of goals, is top of the list since he arrived on the 1st of February. He had 8 assists in the second half. He only played 45 minutes, he had 8 assists. Are they a one-man team?
I mean, they're not.
Have we fallen off air?
I mean, they're not, but they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they all come alive, because Greenwood comes alive. Greenwood didn't have a kick, you know, when he was on the pitch in the first half. Cavani had no service whatsoever. Martial didn't look interested in the game. Scott McTominay, good player, got overrun in midfield. They all did.
You know, we're having a bit of fun here, but exactly what we've just said. I've said, are they a one-man team? You went, yes, but they're not. Are they in the title race? Yes, but they're not. It says it all, doesn't it?
Because we don't know.
About this season.
About this team. About Manchester
Because we
United.
don't know where they're at.
We've no idea where they're at.
I mean,
They
what,
could
you know
do
what?
anything this weekend against Man City.
It's one of them where you ask a United fan and they go, we're in the title race.
Yes.
Ask anyone else and they go, no, you're not.
Yeah.
It's just.
And the Man City game this weekend, they might win 3-0, they might lose 3-0, it might be 3-all.
And then
We have no
Can't
idea,
call it,
do
can
we?
you? Can't
We've got
call
Leipzig
it.
midweek in the
You
Champions
know,
League.
in the
which is a
way,
must-win
okay,
game.
let's do it this way. In the way that we contrast them with Tottenham, who know what they're doing, who are very solid defensively, who can play well on the counter, who are so sure of their approach. Man United is like, well, hey, what do we do now?
And they're bizarre.
Yeah.
And they're bizarre to watch, because when you're watching the game, and what we didn't see was all the chances that West Ham created.
Yeah.
You know, Fornals hit the post. West Ham score. Jared Bowen misses a chance. Second half,
that would have
Jared
been,
Bowen misses even a bigger chance.
For 2-0, yeah.
It could have been, I wouldn't say 4, but it could have been 2 or 3 easy.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, Bruno comes on, click into gear.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So I think the other Manchester United players have to have Bruno playing because they change their game when he's on the pitch.
Well, Ole, to be fair to him, before the game, he had Bruno and Rashford both carrying knocks. So he couldn't start them because he wanted to rest them for the Leipzig game in the Champions League. He was forced to bring them on.
And he'll have to play them against Leipzig, and if they're fit, and they'll have to play them against City.
So they're a two-man team.
Two-man team. Listen, they are brilliant to watch because you have no idea what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
Not very good for your heart.
Not if you're a fan.
Not if you're a real fan.
About his old club Everton, and of course the North London derby, which was brilliant, wasn't it, as well. I want to ask you about your old side, Manchester United. It seems that Bruno Fernandes has got them out of jail again. In fact, well, all the substitutes really, because it was a tale of the second half at the London Stadium, wasn't it?
Yeah, just I don't know. It's his quality. It's just he's fearless, isn't he? On the ball, he seems to get the ball in areas where he'll always try something, and you know it wasn't the best of starts for United, you know what I mean? They defending at the moment seems to be a huge problem for them, concentration-wise, but they seem to find their form late on in games, the substitutions. That ball from Mata there is absolutely fantastic, and the calmness here of Rashford just to dink it over the keeper. And the yak will tell you when you're in that situation or in that position, you're going one-on-one with the keeper, you have to think quickly, don't you?
Well, as soon as you're there, you have to be clever, you know. You have to do it so quick. I wish I played with Fernandes. I would score goals.
Speaking of Bruno Fernandes, we have some an interesting graphic here to show you. Since he made his debut on February the 1st, he's been involved in more goals than any other player in the Premier League. So take a look at this. He's above the likes of Harry Kane. It's quite remarkable what he's achieved since he arrived.
Yeah, again, to go to Manchester United and to, you know, hit the ground running, not many players have done that, I've got to tell you. But yes, look at him. I mean, look at him. He's taken charge. And other players in that Man United squad have actually had to pick their game up as well, because he's taken them to a new level. And yeah, he needs to do it all the time. That's the thing.
Yeah, but when you look at the way they play now, without this guy, I don't think United will be where they are today.
Yeah.
Because he's so clever, you know. It's like, he's a leader. He don't speak too much, but you can see the way he plays, you know. He wants to win.
He's a different kind of leader, isn't he?
Yeah, different kind of leaders. We got some players who've been there in the dressing room. We got Phil Neville, you know him already. He's always
shouting.
He's always shouting. You know. This guy is not like that, but in the pitch, it's something different.
Jack, what have you made of Manchester United then? Because look, I don't know how much you've been following their games recently, but you know, there's a section of the fans who 1 minute are all for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and the next minute they're not so sure. But their away record is absolutely astonishing. Look at this: 9 wins on the trot away from home. May not be as great at Old Trafford, but they're still the 5th in the Premier League, Jack.
Yeah, maybe they need to play more away games than the home games, you know. But you have to give credit to those boys, you know. From one nil down or 2, you know, they always fight back and win the games. But the boys, the desire is there. When you play for a club like Man Utd, you have to give everything. Every game, everyone expects them to win.
Yeah.
So they have to show that from the beginning. Not second half is so good. First half sometimes is really bad, but second half is being good. They have to think about it. They have to speak to themselves as a player. You've been there before, you know, as a player, but sometimes you don't get away with this.
Now,